History in just a moment, but first we're going to take a look at celebrity birthdays. And what do I do with the celebrity music? Birthday music, where did it go? I know it's in here. I remember putting it in the system. Maybe I didn't load the cart. This is not showing up. Not good. Because I just realized I forgot to upload the song of the day. There it is. Okay, now we got it. Here we go. Celebrity birthday time, my friends.
Damn it, Jim, what the hell's the matter with you? Other people have birthdays. Why are we treating yours like a funeral?
Balls, I don't want to be lectured.
Ooh, yeah. Very, very many happy reasons.
And before I run down the brief list of celebrity birthdays for today, if you're celebrating your birthday today, happy birthday. And you share birthdays with these famous people. Actress and director Penny Marshall. Remember her from Laverne and Shirley? Directed Big and A League of Their Own. Well, she is 70 today, and she doesn't look a day over 85. TV chef Emeril Lagasse, I guess that's how you pronounce his name, is 54. TV host Paige Davis of Trading Spaces, Home and Family, is 44. And those are celebrity birthdays for today. Not very many. I said it's a short list. And again, if you're celebrating your birthday today, happy birthday. Now, let's go back in time for Today in History. And let's see, what did I do with Today in History card? I'm having trouble finding everything today. Maybe I shouldn't have stayed up half the night working on editing. Alright, here we go. Time for Today in History. So we'll kill that music. Have room for one passenger in the time machine over there. I know it's a DeLorean. So hop in, and away we go.
October 15th, 1946. In Nuremberg, Germany, former Nazi Air Force Chief Hermann Goering commits suicide behind bars. Goering takes poison just hours before his scheduled execution as a convicted war criminal for his role during World War II. 1917. During World War I, a French firing squad outside Paris executes the Dutch dancer Mata Hari, convicted of spying for the Germans. 1964.
Но я видел, я сомневаюсь, поэтому я хочу, чтобы вы, вице-президент, что вы даете...
A changing of the guard at the Kremlin, as it's announced that Nikita Khrushchev has been removed as leader of what's then the Soviet Union. Alexei Kosygin becomes the new Soviet premier, while Leonid Brezhnev replaces Khrushchev as Communist Party chief. And 1951. I Love Lucy, the classic TV sitcom starring Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz, premieres on CBS. Today in History, October 15th. Tim McGuire, The Associated Press.
And welcome back to Studio 26. That's why I played the expanded edition of I Love Lucy yesterday on the program. Today dedicated to my mom because she was born just a day before I Love Lucy debuted. And growing up, she was a big fan of Lucille Ball, and as was I remember watching those reruns before going to school and sometimes after school. Coming up on the program in just a little bit, I'll have the World News Roundup from CBS Radio News, as well as In the Marketplace in just a moment. Cross or Wide, Missouri is coming up next. But before I do that, I want to speak on behalf of Wishing Stars Native Creations. Right now I'd like to talk to you about a fantastic dream catcher that Chris has made. Measures about 9.5 inches. It's a one-of-a-kind item, as all her items are, and is the first dream catcher Chris has made out of a deer rack. It's very impressive. It's simple, but yet striking in the same time. The simple, undecorated, legend-bearing creation can be easily added at the request of the purchaser. The webbing is done with wax sinew with a single blue and white older glass bead. Feathers on the side are from real turkey feathers, and with a silver cone and cobalt blue beads. And get this, it's only $25 plus tax. You can't beat that price. In a store, they're probably going to mark it up $40-50 right there alone. So if you'd like this one, please like one like this, or this particular one if it's still available, please contact Chris at Wishing Stars Native Creations today. That's facebook.com/Wishing Stars Native Creations, all one word. All right, so do it today. All right, it's time for Across Our Wide Missouri with Bob Pretty.
This is Across Our Wide Missouri with Bob Pretty.
Kiel Auditorium in St. Louis stands on the site of one of the world's most famous murders. Near the end of the 19th century, the area was a prominent Negro red light and tavern district. Early one morning, a young prostitute killed her even younger pimp. We've been singing a song about it ever since. The story in a minute.
Go, Caleb! Come on, hit a homer, Jesse!
Let's go, guys!
Hey, did you guys know that kids who play sports earn more money when they grow up?
Of course. I knew that.
Hey, did you guys know that kids who read books have a bigger vocabulary?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Wow, jinx. Did you guys know that friendly children have more friends?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah,
mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's true. I knew that. Did you guys know that winter babies are better at music?
Everyone knows that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
obvious.
Oh, hey, guys, did you know that most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Huh, I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure I knew that.
I'm pretty sure you didn't.
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right car seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You see, Frankie and Johnny were lovers. And oh, Lordy, how they could love. It is said they swore to be true to each other. Somebody said it was as true as the stars up above. He supposedly was her man, and he supposedly done her wrong, and for that she supposedly done him in. Frankie and Johnny were lovers. Johnny's real name, it appears, was Alan Britt, a slender 18-year-old fancy dresser who worked along Targhee Street in Old St. Louis. Targhee was a short street between 14th and 15th, and it ran south for several blocks. Alan liked to hang around the Bachelor's Club and the Lone Star nightclub. He was frequently seen in the company of one Frankie Baker, a 22-year-old girl with whom he shared an apartment at 212 Targhee. The song says, Frankie and Johnny went walking. Johnny had on a new suit. Frankie paid $100 just to make her man look cute. Frankie reportedly was a prostitute who kept Alan in good clothes and spending money. He was, we might say, her agent, but while Frankie was making a living, Johnny was often out chasing other women, and he was especially attracted to one Alice Pryor, a lady said to be of considerable beauty with underworld connections. Frankie got word about what was going on with her man, and early one morning Alan entered their apartment on Targhee Street and found Frankie waiting for him. She'd caught him earlier with Alice in the old Phoenix Hotel, and they'd argued. The song says she shot him with her big .44, but the contemporary accounts say she stabbed him when he told her to quit nagging. He managed to run from the apartment down the street and reached his mother's home before he collapsed, and his mother supposedly shouted over and over again, "Frankie's shot Alan! Frankie's shot Alan!" And that might be where that part of the story started. St. Louis Post-Dispatch wrote it up like this. Alan Britt's brief experience in the art of love cost him his life. He died at the hospital Wednesday night from knife wounds inflicted by Frankie Baker, an ebony-hued cakewalker. Britt was also colored. He was 17 years old. He met Frankie at the Orange Blossoms Ball and was smitten with her. Frankie reciprocated and invited him to call upon her, and thereafter they were lovers. In the rear of 212 Targhee Street lived Britt. There his sweetheart wended her way a few nights ago and lectured Alan for his alleged duplicity. Alan's reply was not intended to cheer the dusky damsel, and the glint of steel gleamed in the darkness. An instant later the boy fell to the floor mortally wounded. This song tells us the sheriff arrested poor Frankie, took her to jail the same day. He locked her up in the dungeon cell and threw the key away. Well, this song, as many songs do in recounting events that go on in real life, did take some poetic, or, if you will, some musical license with the facts. She was arrested. And yes, she was taken to the jailhouse. There was a trial, however, and at the trial there was a witness on her behalf who said that Allen tried to kill her and she acted in self-defense. The jury ruled justifiable homicide and acquitted her. She showed up many years later. A movie was later made in the 30s. But otherwise she generally drifts into historical obscurity. Some say black pianist Bill Dooley composed a song that night and after the killing, and it was played in many Negro saloons and resorts. The final verse, the story has no moral, the story has no end. It only goes to show there ain't no good in men. He was her man and he'd done her wrong. And she, we know, did him in on this date, October 15th, 1899.
This Marketplace podcast is supported by Mingle, the agile project management tool for software teams focused on continuous improvement. Mingle's custom card walls and realistic reporting help teams start with familiar practices and change as they go. More at thoughtworks.com/mingle.
As Washington fiddles, China's currency shines.
Investing, renting, sending your kid to college? Listen to the Marketplace Money podcast. Find it on iTunes or at marketplace.org/podcasts.
From APM in New York, I'm David Brancaccio with the global perspective on business and economics. The U.S. dollar today has steadied after recent declines amid signs the U.S. Senate might come up with a deal today to raise the federal debt ceiling and to reopen the government. This would force a stark choice in the House of Representatives, and that battle has yet to come. Meanwhile, the talk of the London financial district today is new efforts to make Britain the big place to trade China's currency, which is an increasingly popular activity in an era where the dollar is hobbled by the ongoing fiscal and debt mess in Washington. Marketplace's Stephen Beard has more on London and the renminbi.
The measures were unveiled today by Britain's finance chief on a visit to Beijing. The aim is to facilitate business between London and China. There'll be a direct trading link between the British pound and the renminbi. London will become the first foreign centre allowed to invest directly in domestic Chinese stocks and bonds. Good for London, but it will also give the renminbi a bigger role as a reserve and a trading currency, says Standard Bank's strategist Steve Barrow.
It's going to take China a very, very long time to even get close to the US's dominance, but at the moment you have to say that's the direction in which it's heading.
He says the renminbi is now the world's 9th most actively traded currency. Having the number 1 slot brings the US enormous economic benefits, but Barrow says the shenanigans in Washington put that at risk.
Many perceive that the US policymakers are maybe throwing that advantage away and possibly even throwing it the way of China.
In London, I'm Stephen Beard for Marketplace.
Now let's check the numbers. The FT100 stock index in London is currently up 0.8%. Stock index futures for the U.S. are all up at the moment. In Geneva today, negotiators from the United States and 5 other countries will sit down with a delegation from Iran. They're working to resolve the standoff over Iran's nuclear program. For years, the international community has relied on economic sanctions to keep up the pressure. Marketplace's Jeff Tyler looks at the ongoing economic impact on everyday Iranians.
For Iranians at the bottom of the ladder, the economic situation makes it hard to eat. Hossein Askari is a professor of international business at George Washington University.
What you used to give to your family to fill them up was the little bit of meat and lots of potatoes. Now even potatoes have become expensive.
Inflation is rising, the value of Iran's currency has fallen, and unemployment stands around 20%. Suzanne Maloney with the Brookings Institution says the middle class have been hit hard.
Something like sending a student to university overseas, that's now totally out of reach for anyone except for the extremely wealthy or extremely well-connected.
But it's a different story for Iran's 1%. Again, Professor Hossein Askari.
For the very wealthy in Iran, they're not really affected at all.
That's because their wealth has been protected by rising real estate prices. Askari says the very rich in Tehran are still spending as much as $20 to $25 million for a penthouse apartment. I'm Jeff Tyler for Marketplace.
Looking for a good read? Visit the Big Book blog at marketplace.org. Listen to author interviews and read excerpts from the Marketplace bookshelf. Online at marketplace.org/thebigbook.
Now on to revenge as a management tool. A recent study from Ireland's University